Hello and welcome to another episode of... God, that's such a weird intro. Why did I do it like that? Whatever. We're sticking with that one. That sounded so YouTube.
That one's going in.
Oh, man. All right. Welcome to another episode of A Shot of Weeb. Before we talk about the show we watched this week, let's take a shot. Yeah, I'm using a red Solo cup because I'm a gamer. Not gamers don't use these.
Are you sure you need a shot? You're already out of it, my guy.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
Okay, we're go.
All right.
What's the... Oh.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Boy. All right. So, let's get into it.
We should probably just skip, like, that whole part for the...
No, we're fine. It's totally fine. We're keeping
for
all
the
of this
Anchor upload, because there's just, like, silence.
Oh, yeah. For that, yeah.
Hello, YouTube.
Right.
We know what we're doing.
Actually, now we're going to keep all that in for the Anchor upload because we talked about it. So, this week we watched. It was my choice. So of course we watched a banger as always.
False.
And we watched this man over here saying I don't pick good shows. Oh my god. Anyways, we watched Zambot 3. Muteki Choujin Zambot 3.
You know what?
Is,
I must say I wasn't too hype on this, but you seem to be, like, really gung-ho about it, and, you know, that's a good change. I believe in you.
Hey, well, you know, I gotta be hyped for my shows, right? Because I can't be hyped for the ones you choose.
What? I chose good stuff, I think. I don't even remember what I picked.
I think you had one that I really liked, actually. But anyways, we're talking about Zambot 3, which is a show from 1977. So this is the first old show we're talking about. And by old, we mean old. This is old.
I mean old like Death Note, right?
No, Death Note was 2006. That's not old. Oh, God, that's 14 years. Bro, how has that been 14 years? Oh, God, I don't like that. Anyways, we're talking about Zambot 3, 1977. It was a Tomino anime. I know you did a little bit of research, so I'm curious, what research did you do for this?
Well, I mean, I didn't end up finding that much to write down. I looked into the genre, because robot shows aren't really my thing. I've watched, like, one, and that was...
one?
I don't know if this counts because it's a little bit different. I watched Gurren Lagann.
No, that's 100% mecha.
Okay. Yeah.
100%, yeah.
And it's really not my style. I mean, we've had arguments about this. You know I'm not anywhere near as into that show as you were.
Because I love that show.
I remember back in college when I was like, yeah, I watched the show. It was okay. And you're like, boy, listen here.
Yeah, we had to watch Best Guy Ever's video on that. I remember we sat down and watched that whole thing. It was great. It was a fun time.
And I was just kind of like, it's a show.
Yeah.
Either way.
What else?
I'm sorry. I did it again.
Oh, no, I cut you
No,
off.
I wrote down, because we were talking yesterday. I invited some friends to watch a show with me, and I'm like, you want to watch a Gundam anime? Because as far as I knew, Gundam just meant robot.
Yeah. This is... Look, guys, forgive him. He does not know the ways of the mecha yet. I'm only on the starting journey myself. But
you know what? I will stick.
This is the intro.
I'll just stick with dorky romance anime. That's more my thing.
Hey, those are good too.
And then you also made a comment in that same conversation where you're like, this is real robot, not super robot. And I had no clue what you were talking about. I'm just like, what makes it?
Wait 1 second. I want to correct you there so I don't sound dumb to the viewers. I said this was super robot and Gundam is a real robot.
I don't know. What? It's all robots, okay? They're the same thing.
There's a difference. Did you look up the difference for this?
I did, and I don't care.
Okay, well, I'm going to do a quick explanation. Like, it's as best as my understanding. Okay, so a super robot is like a It's like a robot that just can. It's like got like superpowers. It's like a superhero thing, right?
It's a robot, but it's super.
Okay, look.
You walked into that one, bud.
Oh God, I did. Yeah. Okay, and then a real robot show is a mecha show that tries to be more realistic. Where like it's like it doesn't just like run on superpowers. It like actually has like mechanical things going on and stuff like that. That's the understanding I have, at least. You can correct us in the comments, whatever. That's the base gist, I think, though, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. But basically, I found out that real robot and super robot are different things, and I'm just like, all right. But I also found out that the guy who made this show is like famous.
Very famous. Yes.
Apparently.
Just a little bit.
And he earned a nickname in the anime community explicitly because of this show.
Yep, and many shows to follow, but this show is the starting.
Yeah,
point,
he lived up to it.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. What is that nickname, Wob?
Oh, I mean, we spoil the plot if we say it now.
This show's from 1977. If you haven't seen it,
spoiler alert for a show that's almost as old as my dad. So apparently, primarily because of this show, the director earned the nickname Kill 'Em All Tomino.
That's right, he did. Kill 'Em All Tomino. And what else did Tomino go on to create?
A lot of robot shows.
Yeah. So right after the show,
if any of those are famous, I won't know which ones they are.
Okay, so oh man, I'm not gonna say this. Okay, but like right after, I'm gonna say it this way. Right after the show, he made Daitarn 3, which is another mecha show, and I believe it was also Super Robot. And right after that, so that was 78, and then after that, he made Gundam, the original Mobile Suit Gundam, 0079, and that is what started it all. And then he made many Gundam series after that, but he also made Ideon. He made, oh God, I'm completely blanking on any other ones, but he made a lot of different shows. But he's the mecha guy. He's made quite a few anime. He's made Garzy's Wing is him. Dunbine was him. You're not gonna know any of these shows, Wob.
You're right. Sure. I have no clue what we're talking about right now.
Well, Garzy's Wing is notorious for being bad, and it has like a really funny dub. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen like clips and stuff.
I mean, this show's also rated pretty poorly.
Yeah, which sucks. Oh, spoilers for my rating. So I guess let's get into Zambot. We got a little bit of history with the director, Tomino, who's really cool. He makes really good stuff. Let's get into the actual show.
Oh, wait. I had one last comment that I wrote. I didn't notice it because it was on the other side of my notes.
Okay.
For reference, I have only seen... This is the oldest show I've watched by a significant margin. The oldest thing that I have watched before this, and it's not even a series, it was a movie, is I have watched one of the Lupin the Third movies. I watched Lupin the Third, the Fuma Clan Conspiracy from 1987. Okay. So that's the closest.
I haven't seen that one. So
I watched it with the Film Society right before COVID made our school implode.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But so yeah, this is 10 years older than the oldest anime-based thing that I've seen. I mean, obviously, it's not like the oldest cartoon I've seen. I mean, I watched freaking Danger Mouse. When was Danger Mouse? Do you even know what Danger Mouse is?
I do. Yeah, that's pretty old. I mean, I'm sure you watched Tom and Jerry too.
Well, that's generic. It don't count.
Well, if you've seen like the older Disney movies, like Snow White, Alice in Wonderland,
okay,
all those are old. Like,
yeah, I was thinking like weekly cartoons though.
Gotcha. I mean, basically, like a lot of the stuff that aired on like Boomerang. If you live in America, I believe. Boomerang was like a channel they showed like old cartoons. And I think a lot of those were pretty
yeah, because that's where a lot of the old like Hanna-Barbera stuff was.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff was on there. Yep. So this is old. This is not the oldest thing I've seen. I believe the oldest thing I've seen is technically the Ashitanojo pilot episodes, which were in 1969. But I've seen Ashitanojo. And I'm currently watching Ashitanojo 2. But Ashitanojo was 1970. So it's the oldest thing I've seen. I mean, I've seen, like, in terms of Japanese animation, except for one thing, I believe it was from, like, the 30s? I don't know. It was, like, a short film. It was, like,
I've watched anime from 1890.
They didn't even have anime then, dog. What? What are you talking about? But, like, I don't really count that, you know? It was, like, a short film, like, mostly, like, music and stuff, so,
I apologize for adjusting my mic mid-episode. I'm still not used to having this thing just, like, floating in front of me.
Oh, yeah. That's something we should mention. We got the actual audio setup now.
We got the tech upgrades. I mean, I should hope it would be obvious enough with the fact that I don't sound like the freaking toddler on Xbox.
Sound like a gamer in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, except without the slurs.
Had significantly more weebery.
Oh yeah, so much more anime.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess it's time to get into Zambot 3.
I guess.
Right?
I don't really know how to, like, approach this one, though. Because, like, although there is an overarching story, it's not, like, super plot-driven. It is still, at its core, a Monster of the Week show with extra stuff added.
Yeah. And I would say it stays that way until the final third.
Yeah, because, like, at the end, there's an arc.
Yes. I mean, like, there's, like, arcs throughout, but, like, okay, we're slightly jumping out here, but I just want to mention, once the human bombs are introduced, that's when, like,
that's all, like, very solidified, and everything in that point is, like, in order.
Yes, and, like, but, like, the first few episodes, like, the first episode, obviously, you want to watch first. I mean, it's only 23 episodes. I would recommend just watching the whole thing in order. But,
still, like, the longest show we've talked about on this podcast, if you don't count
Overlord.
Because that wasn't supposed to be 2 seasons.
No. And plus, it was 2 separate seasons. This was one continuous run for 23.
Yeah, it's the longest single thing we've talked about here.
Our first 2-core show.
2-core.
Oh, yeah.
I still have no proof that that's a real term, because I've never heard of that before you and the guy mentioned it.
No, it's a real term. Yeah, each season is a core. Like, each season of the year. So, like, you've got the winter.
That's not a word.
Spring, summer, fall. Yes, it is. It's a core, because it's a quarter. So it's a core.
I hate it.
Oh, my God.
I'm not a true weeb.
What do you like? Do you like anything, bro? What do you like in this show? In
this show, I'll be honest, I kind of dug the OP.
Like, it was great.
It had, like, this quality to it that I feel like you don't really hear in OPs much anymore. It was simple. And I dig it.
It was simple. It was cheesy.
It had that dopey 70s hype. Zambot 3!
Zambot 3! Oh, man.
I remember messaging you being like, why is it Suri and not Tsuri?
Yeah. And then you were like, oh, because tree is Tsuri and 3 is Suri. And you were so excited.
Oh, no, man. Look, man, I have very few things to grab onto. I want to be excited about something.
Hey, anything to be excited about, honestly, that's positive in my book. Yeah, the OP was a bop. Like, that's probably something I will revisit. I'll probably revisit that a lot of times. The ED was really nice, too.
I'll be completely honest, I skipped most of the EDs because it didn't hit me as hard, and because I was really behind on time.
I mean, I was too, yeah. I mean, generally, I don't watch... So, like, my general rule of thumb is I don't watch all the EDs. Like, I just don't do that. I watch about, like... I watch the first episode, and I'll watch it on the last 2 episodes 100% of the time. Because
I'll watch it on the first and last.
See, I don't know if always there's going to be an ED in the last episode.
That's fair.
That's why I save it for the last 2. But this one, it was good enough, and I played it probably like 7 or 8 of the episodes, which is a lot for me. I liked it. It was a nice. Mm-hmm. It's not hype. It's very chill.
It sounded very Western.
Really good. It did sound very Western.
Like there was a cowboy thing, because I mean they also had Keiko was in like the cowgirl outfit. I'm just like, okay, that's cute.
Oh yeah. And it was super chill. It was a good way to end the episode, I think. Like all the episodes.
Always, I will admit, it was always a little weird when it went into chill frontier music right after like a whole city exploded. But like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but like
those are the episodes
generally, though.
Yeah,
especially the ones towards the beginning where it's more episodic and like they've beaten the monster and like everything's kind of going back to like a normal, quote unquote normal. But like so it's kind of like rolling back into that kind of flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because this show definitely gets like darker as it goes on. Not in the same way as freaking School Live, but like.
Oh no, it's a very different kind of dark, but it's dark. It's very dark, I would say. And I mean, I preferred it a ton.
I preferred it when it got to the second half. I did not like the first half of this show.
Okay,
like it it got a lot better. I don't really know about what point it got better. A little bit before the human bombs were introduced, but the first half of it, I just could not jive with, because 2 of the major characters got on my nerves so badly.
Okay, I wanna take a guess at those characters. I am almost 100% Kape is one of those.
You're gonna get it right.
So Kape and Kozuki.
Absolutely, I couldn't stand either of them.
Yeah, I figured. I don't know. I'm with you with Kape, and I think he was written to be.
He was just. I mean, yeah, it was, because he's a freaking kid thrown into mech combat, and he didn't even know he could do it. But the problem is, it like all goes to his head, and he's like, "I'm the best. I don't have to listen to any of you," and then steps on a city block or some nonsense like that. He was a spoiled brat, and it caused a ton of problems, and I got so frustrated watching him do that.
Yeah. So I was telling my friend about this show, right? And I told him, because he's like a big Gundam fan, right? And I was telling him, hey man, I'm watching this Tomino anime right now. And I was and I said, yeah, the main character's a little shit though. And he just goes, oh, wow, I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked.
And I mean,
it's not weird for a Tomino anime, like an original Tomino anime, to have a little shit as a main character. Like, that's normal.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been able to work past that before. Like, I haven't seen the most recent season, but I loved 7 Deadly Sins, but Meliodas is awful for like the entire first season.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
And it was kind of the same here, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, God, Kape. I do like the character arc that Kape has though over the whole show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does develop. It just takes a long time.
It takes a very long time, and I think all the characters develop too. Because I also didn't like Kozuki. I was in the same boat as you too, where I was like, God, Kozuki is just an asshole. Like,
I feel
why
like
doesn't he,
I feel like you and I are
protecting them, but
okay. Well, you just proved my sentence wrong. I was about to say I have a feeling we're gonna like Kozuki for different reasons, or dislike him. But no, it's exactly what I got frustrated with, because it was like stupidly obvious that like the Gaizok are just, or the Mecha Beasts, the YOLO Pokemon are just kind of like destroying military jets and city blocks with no effort, but the gens are able to stand up to them. But then Kozuki ringleads basically the entirety of Japan to try to just straight murder them. He jumps onto the BL-1 with a shotgun and tries to shoot people.
Yeah. It's
It's
the
like,
mecha
are you
boost,
trying?
too.
Are you trying to doom your entire planet? Like, kid, come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's the mecha boost. I forgot the name too. But yeah. See, I felt the same way. But also, as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking. I was like, well, okay. From his perspective, his home just got destroyed by Kape,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of the city is getting destroyed because Kape's not like paying attention to like
Because
what he's
Kape's still being a
destroying.
tiny brat and doing his own thing.
Yeah, and I think
no,
it
I
took
do-
longer to like for Kozuki to realize it because one of the parallels that I made. This is a completely different show that came way later. It came 2006, I believe.
That's only a
but
little bit later.
in
Just a
Ultraman
little.
Mebius. In Ultraman Mebius, in the first episode, Mebius fights the kaiju and beats it or whatever, right? And then at the end of the episode, oh, I can't remember his name. Anyways, like one of the other like the main characters is like, what are you doing? You destroyed the entire city just to beat this monster. What does that accomplish? You didn't win. And that was kind of like the same vibes I was getting here, where it's like, he's destroyed. It took longer to develop though, because that, like I said, that was in the first episode, and Mebius realized that in the first episode that he can't just fight like regardlessly or recklessly. Whereas Kabe was fighting recklessly
Kape didn't care.
throughout. I would even say the entire show. Some of it is like towards the end though, it's more like bravery, I would say. But still, Kape didn't care. Yeah.
Yeah, because later he'll start like actually listening. We got away from what I was trying to say. I was trying to agree with you on Kozuki. The problem is, I agree that Kozuki had a proper reason to hate the Jins, especially Kape, but it didn't come until after he acted way out of proportion. Because if my notes are correct, he busts in with the shotgun on like episode 4. Like, he's been ringleading everybody for several episodes. He infiltrates and tries to shoot them in episode 4. But he doesn't get a proper motive, i.e. losing his family, until episode 5. Had he started taking those actions after that point, I would have completely understood why he's doing that.
So
but before that, I feel like he's just acting way out of proportion. And not trusting like the thing that's clearly able to stand up to what's the actual threat.
So here's my counter to that. And I'm not trying to change your opinion, right? Because I do think he did act slightly out of proportion, but in the first episode, it was established that he was like the leader of this like gang. It wasn't like a real gang; it was just a crew of kids. But like I imagine that some of those kids lost their family in the attack, right? And so I think he was acting more for them rather than his own family, which he considered family. You know, like when you're in like such a tight-knit group, they're your family too, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of why he was reacting that way. I do think he acted a little out of proportion by taking a shotgun to the Beale. Was it still the Beale 1 at that point, or was it the King Beale?
Yeah. And I think he actually does it twice, doesn't he?
Yes, he does it twice, yeah, because one time because there's one time where he shoots at the mom, and the mom's like, oh, no,
She's
you
just
don't.
like, boy.
Yeah, she lays down the hammer on him, and he learns. He gonna learn today, you know.
No, it was cool seeing her go full intimidate, and I liked the designs on this. This is a detour. I liked the designs on this because the people in this show looked like people. They didn't look like anime characters.
With
some exception.
I'm really surprised you said that, because I know a lot of people, or like I've seen people that like don't like these like older designs because they look more like cartoonish and stuff. So I mean, I'm really happy you said that, because I also love the designs. I think they look cartoonish, but like in a more realistic way. Like there's more, not to be too liberal with you. Don't want to put that, libtard hat on. but like there's a lot
What?
of like different there's a lot of different like body sizes and body shapes. It's not like the generic like skinny anime boy or like skinny busty anime girl, you know. Like the mom is not.
I mean,
Like, the
Keiko
mom
does
is, like,
end up being kind of
larger.
just like basic anime girl.
Well, yeah, Keiko is, but the oh god, what's her name? The like so like Kape calls them the ugly twins or the you know, but like the one girl like
Yeah.
she is like the one girl is larger, you know.
Those
and,
were
like,
what were their names? It was
is it Ren
Kei.
or no?
I think it's Michi and something that's 3 letters. That's not listed on
Yeah.
the characters list you gave me.
It's not. No, it's
I
not.
have it
I'm
written
trying to
down
remember.
somewhere.
Yeah, Michi was the one that was like
Michi and
she
Aki.
Aki, yes, that's the other name. Michi was the one who was like a bit larger. She considered herself ugly too, and even in the last episode when she was like, I think Kozuki was like, oh, I see you really like Kape, and she was like, but I'm ugly, and he was like, he didn't say no, you're not ugly. He said, it's okay, I like him too. Which I thought
That
was
was
really
a little
funny.
bit weird.
It was
a little
weird,
bit weird
but,
all
like,
around.
I thought it was kind of funny.
But no, I think the only reason I said they looked like normal people is because, like, I mean, if you ignore the fact that the Jin family are Asian, they looked like people that I'd see in my family. Like, it had a bit of like uncanny familiarity to me.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're going with too, like, because like every character was distinct, but not just because they had their own hairstyle. Like, you know, you know what I mean, right? Like, because a lot of anime, when they design the characters, like, I think
this one's moody because his hair is blue.
Yeah, well, I think Kyoto Animation does this a lot too, where like there's this thing called like same face syndrome, and like if you just change the hair on each character, then it's like that's the only difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that can happen a lot, but like because every character design was so different, you could tell by the silhouette who each one was, right? I think that helped a lot, and it helped. I don't know. It helped make it more realistic because the mom wasn't like this like supermodel mom, you know, and like there were no. I mean, I guess technically you could say there were lollies, but like not in like the traditional sense of a lolly. You know, there's no 3,000-year-old dragons.
Do you want to know something that this show has over Assassin's Pride? Is that
everything?
Is that they're not trying to do like this awkward ship with a 14-year-old main character?
That's true. Yeah. Because like I mean, there's not really any like real relationships. I don't think. I mean, besides like Aki or like, there's like a bit of a love triangle because not a full triangle. It's like a V because
it's
Kape
it's
loves,
mentioned like twice.
Yeah, because Kape loves Aki, but what's the other girl's name?
Michi.
Michi likes Kape, and I think Aki kind of likes Kape, but not really. I think like she likes him more as like a friend.
It doesn't matter. She blows up anyway.
Spoilers, dude. What? You're just gonna drop that? Oh my god. That's such a major plot point. I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe it, bro.
But there's one that, like in the in the early few episodes, they're riding in Zambot 3 and they're like, "Yo, this big giant robot needs a cape." And then like much later in the show, Aki and Michi, they've like made friends with Kape again because they were part of the crowd that's like, Kape's evil. They make friends with him again.
They kind of were like, wait, no, they like followed the hype train. You know, they jumped on the bandwagon, if you will.
Either way, they end up back on their side, and it turns out they actually gave them a scarf, and like all 3 of them are there. And Michi hands it to him, and Kape is like, "Oh, did Aki make this?" And Michi's like, "Well, I helped too." And he's just like, thanks, Aki, and runs off.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Michi's just looking like at the ground, like completely dead inside.
Just like so forlorn that like he didn't even like thank her or anything.
That secondhand hurt.
Oh yeah, no. I felt for Michi there. I was like, damn, he did that shit to you. Damn.
Michi's trying her best, okay?
She really is. Yeah. No, I liked Michi and Aki a lot, honestly. I thought they were both like really like solid side characters.
Yeah, they were kind of fun. They were more relevant than Keiko, if you ask me, so like
Yes, they were. That's something I wanted to talk about too, because
really
Keiko,
fast
fast
clarification for people who haven't seen this. So like there's three main characters because there's three little robots. And it's Cafe.
Yeah, so the Zambot 3 is called 3 because there's 3 other robots that combine or
into
gattai.
One bigger robot.
Yeah, gattai, which is the Japanese word for combine, into one bigger robot. I learned that from Super Sentai.
Freaking nerd. Either way, that's Kape, Uchuta, and Keiko. And so Keiko is one of the 3 like main cat. She does nothing. She's just she's anime girl. She is anime girl.
And they're the pilots because we didn't go over the general premise. The Jin family is like they're descendants of aliens that came from the planet Beale, which already fought the what are they called? The
Gorgonites.
The Gaizok. The Gaizok. They fought the Gaizok, and so they're like descendants from them. And so Uchu, Kape, and Keiko are cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's like there's like 3 families.
Yep. There's 3 families because there's the granddad who the granddad and the grandma who like start the whole thing back up, get them like back into the Beale 1 and the Beale 2 and Beale 3, whatever. They get the King Beale together, which they have all the parts to the Zambot, and then there's the Zambo Ace, the Zambo. Well, I guess it's the the Zambo Jet.
No, I think it's the Zambo Ace, it's the Zambol, and the Zambird, I think.
Well, no, Zambird and Zambo
Zambase
Ace are the same thing.
Zambol and Zambase.
Yeah, because the Zambird it transforms into the Zambase, which is a mech, but only Kape controls it or drives it. But the bird is like the plane. The base. What was the base?
It's like a recon vessel. It looks like a freaking medevac. It's some sort of just support recon thing.
Yeah, it was, and that was what Keiko drove, and the Zambol is what Uchuta drove, which is like a tank, but it could also fly. And then they would all combine into the Zambot 3. Zambot 3, go!
And yeah, and there was like a full transformation sequence. And this leads me into one of my complaints that like. So I can't complain about part of it, but I will complain about something adjacent to it. So,
oh boy.
Whenever the 3 robots transform into the bigger robot, it's always like, it's the same animation. It's the same thing. Which, I mean, I didn't really dig that, but I understand that's kind of par for the course, right?
Yeah. You have to save money somewhere. And reanimating that every episode would be so much money.
Yeah, and so I know that in a lot of these shows, and it goes the same for, like, I'm assuming Magical Girl shows do that too with the same, like, transformation sequence, because frickin' Boy Love or whatever the frickin' second episode we talked about was.
Binan Coco Chikyu Boy Boo Love.
It was always the same transformation.
We're going to watch the second season at some point.
No. It was always the same transformations. And so, like, I understand that that's par for the course. I don't like watching the same sequence every single episode, but I understand that's what you sign up for with this kind of show. The problem is how many other things were just repeated animation sequences. Like, there was a whole bunch of other shots that were repeated between episodes. I'm pretty sure there was one episode where we had the same sequence repeated 3 times in the same episode. I got really frustrated with just how often shots were reused in this show.
So I don't like to speculate about the budget of a show, right? because I think that's really dumb. It's not productive in any way. Doesn't help the conversation. But I'm pretty sure that this show Daitarn so Zambot 3, Daitarn 3, and Gundam were all commissioned basically at the same time, though it was like in succession. They wanted Tomino to make 3 robot shows, and it was a toy company that sponsored it, so they could sell toys of the
because I noticed there were commercials for like the actual toys.
Yeah. And I think like I said, I hate doing this, and I don't even really want to say it, but I don't think that the budget for this show was extremely high, if that makes sense. Like I think it was like all right, but I don't think it was like fantastic.
See, here's the thing, and I don't know if this makes me a bad person saying this. I don't really care what the budget was. Seeing that much reused just really bothered me.
And that's totally fine. There was definitely I don't want to like give that as an excuse, right? Because there was points where that bothered me as well. Where I was like, okay, and like I would look down at my phone and like go to Twitter or something because I've already seen this before. And there were some episodes that made me do that too, because I was just like, I don't care about this like one-off storyline. Like I've seen this episode already in this show, you know. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think that's just kind of with like these older anime too, because each frame, well, not each frame exactly, but like basically each frame is like hand drawn, you know, so you have to cut costs somewhere, and I think that's where they decided to do it was reusing stuff, which I think is smart, and if you use it well, you can't notice it, you know. But
this
like,
was
there's
definitely
episodes.
Noticeable.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's episodes even where like they transformed, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me watch them transform, you know. But like it was still the same. It was still the exact same animation.
And there were a few bits that were just like regular shots reused that didn't bother me so much. Like there was like a reused background shot of people running during one of the evacuation scenes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's the same shot, but like it kind of just fits there. Like I don't really have too much issue there. Yeah. But then when I don't even remember what the shot was. I think it was a wide shot of the Zambot like cutting some projectiles or something, and you show me the same clip for the third time. You know? Yeah.
And I think it's also important to note that both of us are video editors, so that's kind of like the perspective we have on this. For anybody listening, you know, because I mean that's something we think about, you know.
You remind me of like some of my like. I'm not saying this is on the same level. Do not take this to mean this is on the same level. But what you just said reminded me of some of my early projects where I'm like, oh crap, I'm 2 seconds short. Do I have any clips I can use again?
Bro, I've done the same thing. Okay, trust me.
The professor needs 1 minute even.
Yeah, yep. Oh, I know all about that. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's important to mention too, because I think we notice the video more than somebody who's just like just watching it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I am still prone to just like missing stuff because I'm small brain and tend to just shut off and watch a thing.
Well, you know, we've all been there too, right? But yeah, no, there's a lot in the show that gets reused, and but I don't know. I don't think I think it's done well for the most part. There's definitely like the instances that you've mentioned, like the 3 times in one episode, which like those weren't like consecutive, right? Those
no.
3 shots you mentioned. Yeah.
No, it was over the episode, but still.
Yeah, because when it's consecutive,
I suppose I'm not
like
even
a triple
entirely
take
sure.
Is what it's called, I think, and
I'm not even entirely sure it was a third time. I know things happened twice, multiple times. I think there was a 3 time. I can't say with 100% confidence though.
No. I mean, I wouldn't like put it past the show. You know what I mean? It makes sense for the show. So I don't know. I mean, I think generally it uses it all very, very, very well, to where you don't notice it too much, or when you see the robot transformation, it's kind of the same thing that happens in like a lot of tokusatsu stuff. Like, oh yeah, they're transforming now.
I don't know
cool.
what that is.
I get to tokusatsu. It's like special ugh, special effects shows. So like
Okay.
Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Godzilla is tokusatsu. Whatever, all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Gamera, the best, the best kaiju movies. Oh man, you know why I'm excited.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah. So like it's like when they do their henshin sequences, which are transformation sequences, it's a lot of times it's a very similar thing. You've seen it over and over, and I think this kind of falls into that same category, and it's a way to save on budget. But I don't know. Most of the time, it's used really well, I think, and like keeps it fun. So
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
and like, yeah, and that is one of the few things that like I'll actually complain about as far as the animation goes, because there's other things that like I didn't really jive with, but I'm also leaving them off the table because calling them out on it would be like a really cheap shot, literally just because it's old.
Yeah, like what?
Like I noticed,
like what things? I'm curious.
the animation wasn't very smooth. Like you can, if you're looking hard enough, you can see the frames often enough because it's like animated at like half speed, which I think is pretty standard. But like,
Yeah, I mean,
it was to the point where the
most
animation
anime,
seemed a little stuttered.
Yeah, I mean, even most anime today, like, I mean, I think it's all on 24 FPS. I think that's or like 24.987, whatever.
Yeah, but it's like
stupid
12
numbers.
frames twice over or something like that. Because I know like
Well,
American stuff does that.
a lot of it is like you get 3 frames till it changes. So you get 3
is
frames
it?
of the same thing. Yeah, which I think this does as well. But like, like yeah, exactly. It's older. You kind of have to. I think. So like I think as a like a more if you mainly watch modern shows, like
Which
if you're
guess
like a
what? I
seasonal-
do.
if you're a seasonal hound and you just go after the seasonals, then I think you have to put yourself in like almost a different mindset to watch the older shows because they're a very different style. As I'm sure
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
in this.
That's why I said I'm having to set aside my opinions about like older styles because that would be a cheap shot to riff on it.
Right, exactly. And like, but that's not to say that there's not a lot of impressive animation from older shows. 'Cause
Yeah.
even in this show, I think there's some pretty impressive animation.
Yeah, and I will admit, it does still get some points for the fact that I was able to still be, to some degree, interested. I did lose interest semi-regularly, but it was able to more or less hold my interest because a lot of times older anime, I don't really vibe with it. I look at it and I'm like, wow, this looks ugly, and then I kind of check out. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. Look,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
No,
excuse
watch
my
old anime,
behavior.
please.
I'm not trying to excuse my behavior, but like I do know I tend to be like that. Like that's why I bailed on Devilman is because I'm like, look, I can't look at this.
We'll get to Devilman.
I
We'll
know.
get to it.
I want to watch the show. I understand it has a great story. I was so put off by the art in it.
It's literally one of my favorite pieces of fiction. That manga, everything. But we'll get to that later. That's for a later day. We're talking about Zambot 3.
Today is Zambot 3.
I love that OP. I love it.
It was so hype.
Man.
It was so dopey and it was so hype.
It was amazing.
Where do we go from here? What's the is there any other broad stroke stuff we should talk about? Because I think the only story bit that we need to talk about in story order is the bomb arc.
Yeah, and
So,
I think
is
a
there
little
any,
bit of a little bit of the beginning, the setup arc, because there's a bit of a setup arc. I think the first couple episodes are set up.
Yeah,
and
because
then,
they also
then it turns to Monster of the Week, and then it gets to bomb arc, human bomb arc.
Yeah, because I do have some just random fun notes. Like they were introducing characters in the beginning, and when they first have the cousins fly in, and Kappei sees Uchita come in, and they're like, "What? It's cousin Chu from Tokyo?" And I latched onto that phrase "Chu from Tokyo" because it had the same energy as Jake from State Farm.
Oh, that's great. I didn't even put that together. That's amazing. It does have that same exact energy, though. You're right.
It was so dumb, but that's I like this.
No, that's great. So okay, I'm curious though. What were your thoughts on Killer the Butcher?
Very unremarkable, borderline annoying.
Really? Okay. Because
I couldn't.
I thought he was really interesting, personally, because he's like this.
He looked like
First off, his name, Killer the Butcher, is so like on the nose villain that it's hilarious to me, you know. But then after Killer the Butcher, like after you get past his name, yeah, like you said, his looks. What about his looks?
he looks like. Did you ever see what Ganon looks like in the CDI Legend of Zelda games? He looks like that. He looks like that to me.
Why did you tell me that? I hate you. Oh, man.
That's what I was picturing this entire show.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, God. I'm not. I hate you for that. Honestly.
And then he has these henchmen. They're just like pointy aliens. Whatever.
Oh, the henchmen were cool. I liked the henchmen a lot. You had Gizar and Barretta, and the other one's not listed here because there's only 8 characters. Yeah, there's only 8 characters listed.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people not listed on the Anilist page.
So many. We're gonna for the second half of the show. I'm gonna have to pull up the mal and hopefully it has
because again, like Aki and Michi weren't on there. Any of Kozuki's gang weren't on there.
Yeah,
almost none of Kabe's
characters.
family were there.
There's so many important characters in the show too, and it's ridiculous they're not on here.
Yeah, because the three like Jin families are really important.
Yeah. But I liked Killer the Butcher. His design was like super cartoony. It like had a bit of like a oh God, what's like a Hanna-Barbera alien design, if that makes sense. You know, like the really old cartoon, like, oh, I'm evil and I'm an alien, kind of design. You know what I mean? And then he was also, and then it turned out he was this like renowned bounty hunter, or not bounty hunter. He was like just a barbarian kind of guy who the Gaizo found. And,
like, because we find out that Butcher has a boss, and he's just like, I found you with no purpose, and I gave you all this stuff.
Yep.
You won my free giveaway.
But then also Butcher thinks of him as a god, and so follows his every command. But then also Butcher is a cyborg. We find out, which that's a bit of a
that's
spoiler.
like episode 22. Now you're spoiling things.
Look, that's not as big of a deal as Aki becoming a human bomb and exploding. Okay, that's much less of a deal than that. Because what is that? That doesn't do anything for the plot. Him being a cyborg
it just lets him float in space and talk for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. But that was kind of cool. But then I liked his one of my favorite things about him is that every time we saw him, he was doing something different, but it was always a human game. Like he was like doing cards at one point, billiards at one point, or pool for those, less intellectuals.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, he was playing 8-ball at one point.
I mean, he also had like other like non-games. Like he puts on a freaking Elvis concert once.
Yeah, he had the disco kind of thing. The EDM
and there
concert.
was a weird bath one that I didn't like.
The bath one was so weird, but like he was always doing these like human things, right? Which I thought was really interesting.
He had the massage chair. The massage chair was fun.
He did. I forgot about the massage chair. The massage chair was great. Oh man. But I actually found him, especially in that second like the latter half of the episode, or not episode, series. Oh god, I'm about to sneeze. Oh god.
Bless you.
Nope. Okay, we solved it. But like in the latter half, he actually kind of became like formidable a little bit, I would say.
You know, once he realizes he has to actually fight.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, like, there it is. God, I hate when they're late. Oh man. I'll try to mute.
You just sit there with like a dumb look on your face for like an hour.
Oh man, yeah, that would be the worst. All right. So Butcher, he definitely, like, once he like became serious and like realized that the humans might be some kind of threat. That's when he kind of like started playing mean, I guess. He stopped playing nice.
Yeah.
Especially when the Gaizoke was like, "Hey, you're wasting all of my mecha boosts. Quit doing that." And he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, go Minasai! Go Minasai, my lord!"
Because, like, for the first half of it, he's just like, throw a beast, see if it does the thing. It never did. I mean, it blew up a bunch of cities because Kappe's an idiot, but it never like, went unchecked.
Exactly. They were always able to defeat it, find a way to beat it.
Yeah.
Every time, even when he was like, "Perfect, my invincible monster," they would beat it. The next episode, he'd be like,
"Yeah, because
there we go.
Send out the invincible
monster." Yes, the designer was really cool.
Yeah, he was just like this little dweeby fella. And there was like, but like Kappe, like, even with all of the setbacks, gets on to fighting him. I made a note. I want to bring this up because we're kind of skipping around. I want to bring this up now. Like, episode 3 was like the most upset I ever was with Kappe. Because there's one bit, I think this is the first time, or maybe the second time, I think the first time that he and Keiko and Chu were all together for fighting. But, like, they hadn't started doing the Zambot 3 thing yet. And so they're all fighting this thing separately. And it has, like, a heat beam, and it sets Chu's tank on fire. So Chu's just, like, melting in his robot. It sets Keiko's ship on fire, and she crashes, and she's just, like, melting in the ship. Oh, wait, no, this is when they're about to do the Zambot thing. Because they're like, look, you need to put out the flames by transforming into Zambot 3, or they will burn to death. And he's like, I don't want to. I want to do it on my own.
Uh-huh.
And so he's just going to let them die because he wants to stroke his ego or something. Yep. He ends up going into the transformation when his ship's set on fire because then he's in danger. Yep. I hated him so much.
I think that's also part of it because so like I mentioned before, when my friend said, "Oh, I'm so shocked that he's a little shit," I feel like Tomino likes to make these little shits to just over time become decent people. Not good. I don't want to say good because I don't think Kappe ever becomes. He never reaches good. He becomes decent by the end.
He becomes acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like he likes to make those because I don't know. I think it helped Kappe feel more real, if that makes sense. Because, you know, if you just have this hero who's like, yes, I'm doing it for good, then, like, whatever. You know, I don't care. Yeah, great. Wow, great.
I would vibe more with that than with what we got with Kappe, honestly.
Really? Because I really liked his character arc more than just because if you have a character that starts off with, wow, I am the epitome of good and nothing, and I will defeat evil. Huzzah! You know, like, whatever, I don't care. But, like, when you have Kappe who starts out as little shit and then he slowly turns into, like, a acceptable shit, you know. I don't know. I found that more intriguing.
I suppose I'll put a condition on that. I'm not saying I want someone to be the epitome of good and stay there the whole time. Like, if you have a story, I can't think of examples off the top of my head, but, like, if you had a character that starts off as, like, I'm doing this for the good of everybody, but then has to, like, realize the hard way that he can't do everything, you know, hands down, I'll take a story like that over an obnoxious character slowly becoming not unbearable.
That's fair, I guess. I don't know. Because, like, I mean, even if you think about it, like, even with Western stories, right? Like, King Arthur is kind of a piece of shit.
I'm sorry, it's been a long
lot of the
time
time.
since I've read the King Arthur manga.
I said Western. It's the Marvel comic. Excuse you.
Oh, jeez.
No, but, like, King Arthur's kind of a piece of shit, you know? And, like, or, like, if we even go back even earlier to, like, Greek mythology, Zeus is a huge piece of shit. But, like, eventually...
Isn't Zeus the one that just, like, sleeps with every human he sees or something?
Oh, he fucks everybody. Yeah. Oh, there goes our explicit check. Yeah.
You're the reason we're demonetized.
Only in this episode. Yeah, no, but, like, I don't know, I find those characters more intriguing. It's not like the characters, like, I want to be like, you know, like the characters, like, I look up to, I guess. Oh god, this is so cringe.
Which anime character do you want to be when you grow up, Seaweed?
This is so cringe, bro. Okay, look, when I was in middle school, it's like when I first found anime, right? And, like, you know, it was Bleach was my first one. I wanted to be like Ichigo so bad, bro. Ichigo, he's very stoic, and he's a good guy. He just wants to protect his friends. I wanted to be like him so bad, but and he, like, that's still the kind of character I look up to, I guess. God, I'm a 22-year-old. Why am I saying that? That's God. I'm so
no.
Cringe,
you know what? Okay,
bro.
you know what? I'll follow suit on the cringe. I'll help you out because, like, I used to watch anime a little
you.
bit in high school, but then I got out of it. When I got back into it, it was with My Hero Academia, and I was just like, I was freaking vibing with Deku because I'm like, look, kid just wants to be his best. Dang it.
I feel that. Yeah. Thank you for entering the cringe zone.
I'll stoop down to your level.
Don't say that. Don't you dare say that to me. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know. I liked Kappei's character. That's what I'm trying to say. I think he's cool. I like his character arc. It's enjoyable. Though there's times where I was like, Kappei, you piece of shit. Just combine. Your ego is nothing.
No, I want to win this on my own. Go home, Chew. I don't need you.
Yeah.
That was like every episode for the first like 10. I hated it.
Yeah. It's definitely a slow burn, but, like, if you stick around, I think it's worth it. I know you don't, clearly, but I think it's worth it.
I mean, it might be worth it because there's some very interesting things that happen in the second half. But if I were watching this on my own, the first half would have killed it for me.
Well, I mean, like, the character arc is worth it, not the show in general.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood where we were going with that.
No, I didn't make myself clear. You're all good. I think Kappei's character arc is worth it, but that's just me. And I like the show. So, you know, I vibed. Sue me.
Okay, I'll start the proceedings now.
Wait. Hold on, dude. Wait a minute.
Well, I think to file the appropriate paperwork, I'm going to need our mid-roll break. What do you say we go ahead and do that and then get into the second half?
I believe so as well. Though please don't use it to file paperwork.
Alrighty, well, we'll be back for the second half of Muteki Mutant Zambot 3.
Zambot 3, go!
We'll catch you after the mid-roll break for the second half. Hello and welcome back to the second half of A Shot of Weeb episode 11. I don't think we ever gave the episode number at the beginning because we were very confused as to how to start. I'm confused as how to... Sorry, go ahead.
I don't even think we introduced each other at the beginning of the episode.
I don't think we did. I'm not Seaweed. I'm Wob.
Yeah, I'm Seaweed. That's me. I'm Seaweed.
We are Seaweed and Wob, and he is insisting that we take one more shot for the second half, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Hey, baby.
Kompai, I believe it is?
Kompai!
Ah. Stuff's spicy.
That was the biggest shot that I took at the beginning. Oh.
Well, I took a smaller one this time because I accidentally went way too ham at the beginning.
I accidentally poured too much, and I wasn't going to pour it back in the bottle.
Yeah, no, we both did that.
Oh, boy. All right.
The second half of episode 11, a shot of Weeb episode 11, Zambot 3.
Muteki Choujin Zambot 3.
I'm not going to remember that.
I know you're not.
Mutant JoJo Zambot 3.
No. The English name, I believe, is Invincible Superman Zambot 3.
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
That'll
Either way, we talked a whole lot about the characters at the beginning of this.
Yep.
And so we're going to try to pick up with, like, things that actually happen in the show instead of just complaining about people in it or bragging about people in it. It was a little of both.
Yeah. I think we had some positives and some negatives to say.
So I think we agreed. We're also a little scrambled because we wound up taking like an hour-long break for some reason.
It was so long. Yeah, man, that was so long. We had God, yeah.
That was wild. Anyway, I don't think we've actually established how the Zambot fights, because like we talked about the individual mechs, but when the Zambot's together, there's like 3 buttons that he presses on occasion. Well, no, that was that was one of the issues I had. Is every fight is like, or a lot of the early fights at least, 90% of the time they combine into Zambot, and then he's like Zambot grab, and then it doesn't work, and he's like Zambot blow, and then that doesn't work, and he's like Zambot cutter, and it's those 3, and then they end with moon attack. That's all it is. So
that's kind of a normal like mecha thing. There's not like a ton of like different attacks. It's also like in Magical Girl shows, I think.
Yeah, like, which is one of my biggest complaints.
But like,
with like the genre as a whole.
Don't say that. You haven't watched enough to say that.
I haven't watched it because that's why I have issues with it.
You wouldn't even know, dude. Oh my god.
It doesn't interest me. I'm trying to. We're not to the ratings part, but like I've been trying to keep my rating of this like more to like its merits and its issues, and much less whether I enjoyed it or not, because by right of what kind of show it is, I'm not gonna get into it. It's not gonna be my thing.
I used to be like you once. I used to not like mecha, and here we are.
Back before when you had standards. No,
that was. No,
I left my bag of tortilla chips in frame. What am I doing? I'm a monster.
Oh no, you monster! Yo, no. No. I would say I have better standards now than I did before, because before this was mentioned to me by some friends of mine, but I had given the smartphone isekai a 6.
Wait, the smartphone isekai? What's that? Persona 5?
No. First off, Persona 5 isn't an isekai, you absolute goon.
You press a smartphone button, you go to another world.
No, you don't. That's a lie.
I've played the game twice. Isekai, I know what I'm talking about.
No, you don't. Clearly. Play it again. No, the smartphone isekai is like is a normal isekai, but he's allowed to take one item with him, so he takes his smartphone, and God gives him all the powers, all the abilities of the smartphone, including Google Maps, Amazon.jp, everything that he could. I don't think he actually. He might not have Amazon, but he has like Google and everything. I think the Amazon one's a different isekai. But like he has a smartphone with him, and it works, and it doesn't need to charge. It has its back, whatever. Regardless,
my favorite isekai is when they bring a goddess with them.
I know. It is. Oh man, we'll get to that show eventually. I'm sure.
I hope we do.
I'm sure we will. But yeah. Anyways, regardless.
How many weapons does the Zambot 3 have? How many different ones does he use? Because he mostly sticks with the same like 3 plus moon attack.
Well, okay, so he has the 2. He has the is it Michelangelo blades That's the Ninja Turtle that uses those, right?
He has like I don't remember, but I think you're meaning like the Tusai or whatever.
Well, he's got like the two blades that has like three prongs on them,
and
I
then
think
he calls them grap.
Yeah, grap. Yeah, and then he puts it together, and he has then he gets a sword, and then he puts them together also, and he gets like a double-sided spear, I believe.
Yeah, the spear is the blow, and he makes the sword. It's the cutter, I think.
And then he has the magnum, which is
he has that stupid gun.
It's not stupid, dude. It's so cool.
He also has like those like spinny blades on his knees.
Oh yeah, the Buster
that he uses like twice.
The Zambot Buster. No, he uses those a lot actually. Those are used quite a bit.
Okay, he only calls them out like twice.
Oh, that's not even true. But go off, King, dude.
I feel like. Well, no, there's a lot of. Sorry, there's a lot of points where like. I've forgotten the main character's name. Kape is like doing things, and then Uchuta is like, "I'll launch the Busters." Because I'll be completely honest. I kind of wonder what the other two do while they're in big robot form. Because it's all Kape is all we ever see doing. Dechu and Keiko just kind of chillax.
No, I think they're doing stuff too. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing stuff. But like Kape is like he's like the brains of the operation. No, that's not true.
That's a sad day.
No, he's not the brains. Uchuta is the brains of the operation. Kape is he's the action. And Keiko
honestly, I'd say Keiko is the most level of all of them.
No. You didn't let me finish. Uchuta is the brains. Kape is the action, and Keiko is there.
She is anime girl.
Yeah.
In a 70s anything.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned that a little bit, I think, in the last half, but like Keiko doesn't really do much in the show. She doesn't get any development, I don't think. And
she has like a solo episode, but it was one I didn't care about because not much happened.
Yeah, it was the Yukata episode, right? Or the Komodo episode. I think.
Yeah,
where, like,
and then like yeah, and then there ends up being a fight, and she still doesn't do anything. She calls the other two in, and they go into Zambot 3 form.
She's still like the least involved, which sucks. I wish she was more involved because I thought Keiko was kind of cool, and I wish she was developed more. But really, only Kape and Uchuta are developed. But we're getting back into characters now.
Yeah, we've already done a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's other characters we haven't talked about, but they don't need talked about as much. I mean, like Grandma and Grandpa are kind of important.
Yeah, they're pretty important. Like, there's a lot of important characters in the entire show.
Yeah, basically all of the Jin family have their own like roles on the Beal. What's the Beal? What are the three Beals? How did the Beal mobile work?
So there's the Beal 1, the Beal 2, and the Beal 3. That's the three Beals, and they combine. Or they gatai to form the King Beal, which is a big like spaceship thing, and it's like so if you've seen Gundam, which I know you haven't, Wob, but if you've seen Gundam, it's like the white base for Zambot, basically. It's like the main ship that like everything is like controlled from. Like the main operations are there, like. They're able to give commands. They can detect the different mecha. What are they called? The mecha boosts. They can detect those there. So where everybody lives, I believe also. It's like it's the main base basically.
If there's one thing that I do want to give credit to this show on, it's that I like the way the robots transform. I may not want to watch it 70,000 times over the series, but they're all in ways that I wouldn't have thought of. Like, so when the three Beals combine, Beal 1 and Beal 3, like, stack on top of each other, but then Beal 2 literally splits in half and sandwiches on either side.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was trippy. And they actually use that later, because they're, like, trying to dodge some missiles, and the two little kids are in one of the halves of Beal 2. And so to dodge some missiles, they just disconnect that half of Beal 2 and then put it back on.
Yep.
That was rad.
Yeah. Oh,
but no, the one I really noticed it. Oh, sorry.
Continue. No. Continue. Mine's a big tangent, so just continue.
The one I really noticed it on was Zambird into Zambo Ace. Because, like, my frame of reference is going to be, like, Transformers.
Okay, that's fair.
But, like, it would be common sense from our standpoint, I suppose, is to have, like, the head be where the pilot is and the front of the plane. And the thing just flies forward Superman style. Yeah. It is exactly the opposite here. The pilot compartment is in the thing's foot. Kape sits in one foot and the dog sits in the other foot.
Yeah, Chimishki.
And the Zambo Ace flies around effectively on its back, feet first. I would not have thought to transform that way at all. That's just like backwards to me, and it was really fascinating.
Honestly, I didn't really like that. Okay. I didn't like that because, like...
You mean you don't just lie down and fly feet first at your enemies?
No, not even that. Like, because you can't do any cool kicks with that without damaging
I always
yourself.
wondered how they weren't getting so dizzy being in the thing's foot.
Yeah. No, like... Well, also... So...
Or how they can, like, see the fight, but I suppose they're just using, like, vision consoles and stuff.
Yeah, I think they're using vision, but, like, also... I don't... Does Kape stay in the foot the whole time? Because, like, at some point, like... Because, you know, like, when they combine, the feet go into the what's the tank called again?
The Zambol, I believe.
Yeah, the Zambol. When it goes into the Zambol, the feet, like, go into it. But, like, that doesn't, like, work. Because, like, it seems like... I mean, maybe this is a whole perspective thing with the vision, with like the console, like they're just using a screen and stuff. But like towards the end, oh god, I'm jumping ahead, but like whatever, this is necessary for the point. You know, like when Uchuta gets hit in that like last episode, and like he gets all damaged and stuff, like Kapai doesn't take any damage. But you would think that he would be like around the same place that Uchuta was. So I'm wondering if like his cockpit doesn't move up when they're in the Zambot 3.
It probably
versus
does, because like
the Zambot or the Zamba Ace, whatever it's called. I don't know the mecha that, because only Kapai has a mech, or like a humanoid mech that he can use.
Yeah, the others just stay robot like.
Yeah, Kapai can transform by himself, but like the other two can't.
For some reason.
Oh, because he's the main character. So
yeah.
He gets the Zambot.
Oh, hold on. The gun isn't part of Zambot 3. Zambot 3 doesn't use the gun. Zambo Ace does. Because remember, the gun holster like has to launch from the Zambase.
I thought they used the Magnum in the last episode though, like the Zambot 3 did.
Well, yeah, because they all split up, remember?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, because the Magnum is like a different ship that gets sent out, and then it wraps around him like a... Oh, God, that hurt.
Yeah, it launches out of Keiko's support vehicle.
Oh, I thought it launched out of the Beale.
No, I think it comes from Keiko, I think. You might be right. It might be Beale.
No, I think it's Beale. It's because in the last episode... When they split, only Kape was the one that went out. Everybody, like the other two, stayed together. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I think it comes from the Beale, and then it wraps around his waist, and he's able to use the gun, the Magnum, which is super cool. I like the Magnum.
I hate it.
Why do you hate it? Why?
It looks so stupid, and swords are cool.
Okay. Look, I can't argue that swords are cool because I love swords. I love swords so much. I can't argue with that. But also, it's kind of cool. The way it shoots, the way that it's not just like part of him, you know, like with like a, so like with a Gundam, for instance, like the guns are like part of them. But like, oh God, I'm going to get hate for that because I don't think that's always the case. You guys know what I mean. But like
I don't.
I'm not talking to you. But like like the sword was Zambot's thing, but like and Zambo Ace had Zambo Ace wasn't able to use a sword, was he? No, Zambo Ace just had
I
the
don't
Magnum.
think so.
Zambo Ace had the Magnum. But I liked that it was a secondary thing and not just constantly with him. I don't know. It like seemed more. I don't want to say realistic because that's not the right word, but like it seemed better than like. I mean, I always relate it back to Tokusatsu because that's what I know, as you know. But it seemed more like it actually like belonged there. Whereas like in like a lot of times you see in Tokusatsu like they just pull their weapons out of thin air. Like it's just like you just gotta kind of accept it, you know. Like their belts come out of thin air too, like in Kamen Rider specifically. But I don't know. Yeah, I liked the Magnum. I guess you didn't though, which is a shame. It's a real shame.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of dopey, and I think it looks a lot more interesting when they're fighting with the swords. But that's just my own like bias, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because we used to like at our old house, we used to just have a bunch of swords like on the wall because dang, they cool.
Oh yeah, swords are really cool. I mean, I have multiple replica like anime swords. Oh god, that made me sound so cringy.
Weeb.
This is the cringiest episode we've ever made so far. Oh god, yeah, but like I don't know. I like swords. I mean, that's like one of my friends is also like the same guy who's into Gundam. He's also a gun nut. He's military. Yeah, he likes military stuff. But like,
is this the guy you talked to after Girls in Panzer?
Yes, same guy. I don't know.
Our professional advisor.
Yeah, he likes. I mean, he likes guns and stuff, and I've always told him that, like, man, swords are so much cooler. He's like, no, dude, guns is where it's at, and like,
I don't get the appeal.
I get it in this episode. I still like swords. It feels more physical, you know. You cringe. Why do you cringe, dude? Why do you cringe? That wasn't that cringy.
No, that was just entertaining phrasing. I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
We get plenty of guns in this one. We get freaking Kazuki just barging in with a shotgun.
That's true. Oh man. All right.
Should we just...
screw it. Let's just go straight to the human bomb arc.
Let's go to where the story starts being a story instead of
The monster of the week. Yeah. Okay, I do want to emphasize though, if you haven't watched the episodes in between, they're important for building up like the side characters that will become super relevant in this last arc, and they're fun as hell.
Yeah, and like particularly, it'll give you a reason to like care about who all is on the Beale, because there's a really fast rundown. There's like three. There's like the dad and two uncles, and then there's their wives. There's three like small cousins, two from one group, one from another, and there's Kappei's brother, and then their grandparents. Those are all the people.
Yeah. Yep, including obviously Keiko, Uchucha, and Kappei.
Yeah, and the freaking the Texan man. One of the uncles has like a cowboy hat and like big Texas energy.
I think that was Keiko's dad. That was 100% Keiko's dad, because Uchucha's dad was the doctor who slapped his wife.
Yeah.
Which we didn't mention. He had very big Sean Connery energy.
Yeah, I'll take your word on that one.
One open-handed slap to the face.
Oh, jeez, I wasn't gonna bring that up. Oh.
That's a Sean Connery quote. Yeah, so there's an episode...
Did you know that this show was from the 70s?
Yeah, there's an episode where Uchucha's dad slaps his wife. Okay, but to play devil's advocate, okay, I don't agree with these.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I want to preface this with a disclaimer. I don't agree with the statements I'm about to make. She was being a bit of a bitch, though. Like,
she was being very unreasonable, but that does not excuse the action.
Yeah. No. I don't think that it was like the slap was not deserved, right? Like, let's get that clear. But like the whole episode, God, I had to say but, didn't I? Oh man. Okay, cancel hashtag
You know, I was
cancel
told that
seaweed.
everything after the butt doesn't count.
Hashtag cancel seaweed. No, the whole episode, Uchuta's mom the whole time was like, "We gotta go save our house. The mecha booster, the mecha boost
Yeah,
is
because Tokyo was
destroying
burning.
It's
This
destroying
time.
Tokyo. Yeah, and that's where they lived. And then so like they go there and like
That's where Jake from State Farm is from.
so they're like the mom's like no we have to save our house like screw all these other people, we have to save ourselves first, whereas like Uchuta was like no mom, what are you talking about, like we need to save like like people first, like don't like we need to worry about like the collective, not the individual. Very very Japanese mindset, I want to say, by the way.
That is big Spock energy.
No, that's Japan. Yeah, it's a collectivist society. But like the mom is like, no, we need to protect our house, and like they do that. But then like towards the end of that episode, she's like, no, Uchuta, come back here and protect our house. And then the dad's like, shut up, and like just completely slaps her, slaps her across the face.
I immediately messaged you. I'm like, why are you making me watch 0 out of 10?
Yeah, I already knew. I knew because I watched that episode before you did. And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to get an earful from Rob about this episode. I knew.
He did.
I definitely did, yeah. Both ears were full. Gotta say. But it was very uncomfortable to see that, because it's like, now we know. Oh yeah, don't that's abuse.
Yes.
Whereas like back then, not to justify anything. God, here I go again.
Oh, back in the good old days.
But like, that was not considered abuse back then, but it maybe it should have been. Maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of just not cool.
Yeah, don't slap your wife or your husband or your whoever you're married to, or your children. Don't slap anybody.
Just be like me and never leave your room and don't talk to anybody, and you'll be fine.
That's good advice. That's very good advice.
That's what I do.
Yep. Yeah. Like
nothing. As far as I'm concerned, nothing exists outside of this room.
unless you're in a ring or an octagon, don't need to be physical. No violence is necessary. But if you're a professional fighter,
what's an octagon got to do with anything?
An octagon, that's what they fight in MMA. It's the octagon, and a ring is like a boxing ring, or like
what's MMA?
Mixed martial arts.
Okay.
The UFC.
Okay. I don't know what UFC is.
The Ultimate Fighting Championship. It's like a league.
I don't do sports.
God. Oh man, we're gonna watch a sports anime one day, and you're gonna like it.
All I know is sports makes my job hard. I have to work Super Bowl Sunday, and that's gonna be miserable.
No, pizza is the best for sports, bro.
Not when you're the one making it.
Be grateful. You probably made me multiple pizzas for football. You better thank me.
No, I've not actually worked a Super Bowl last year because I was still too new. They didn't call me in.
I watch college. I don't watch pro football.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I like good football.
There is no good football.
It's college. Anyways, back to Zambot.
Back to anime, which is not sports.
Well, mecha anime, the exact opposite of sports. What were we even talking about?
I don't know. We were like, we said we were going to go to the arc, and then we didn't. Bomb arc.
Yes. Okay. So let's get into the human bomb arc. So there's bombs that are people.
Yeah. This is the arc where Aki blows up.
Bro. Bro. Why? Why do you do
Am
this,
I
dude?
wrong?
Look, dog, you're not wrong, but also, that was a very emotional moment for me. Okay?
Yeah, well, I already brought it up 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Or I suppose 40 minutes from the viewer's perspective.
Maybe you did. Doesn't change that it was an emotional moment for me.
It was an emotional moment, but it didn't get me near as badly as a different one later on.
Okay, that's fair. Well, okay, you didn't know about the nickname before the show, though, right?
No. Or rather, I saw it, and I'm like, wow, I wonder why he's called that.
Yeah. See, I knew about his nickname, and so I kind of figured that there would be a lot of death in this show.
Plot twist, there was. I mean, I made a note of
so
that
much.
when Kape was, like, celebrating in one of the early episodes, and meanwhile, the entire city is on fire.
Yeah. There's a lot of death throughout this whole show.
Oh, dear, it's my turn.
Oh, did it go away?
It's just sitting there.
For our audio listeners, Wab has to sneeze.
And it's just there.
That's the worst ones.
So how's this art go? I'm just gonna suffer over here.
What? I don't even remember where I was at, bro. I've had so much to drink tonight, guys.
I
drink
told
responsibly.
you didn't
drink
need another
responsibly.
one.
Drink responsibly, not like us. We're doing this for
Don't
entertainment.
be like Seaweed.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't lump you into this because you didn't drink as much as me.
I've had more shots than you, though.
Yeah, but I've also been drinking Rita's the whole time. We're not sponsored.
Oh,
Rita, if you're out there, hit us up though, because these things are tasty.
I've just been mowing through some Sprite in my side time.
Yeah.
Final arc, go speed run. How does it start?
Human bombs. They find out like there's these bombs that are people, and like the Geizok are changing them into bombs, and so like they're trying to figure out how to stop it. And like I don't remember exactly how it starts, but I know that they infiltrate what are those called? Like the camps. What are those?
I only just noticed. I was looking back at my notes. The bomb arc is like what I watched today. It starts on episode 16, and that's the first episode I started this morning.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean,
so like I remember I saw 17, and I'm like, oh, whoa, it's a 2-parter, and then the story kept going. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, whoa, it's a 3-parter, a 4-parter, 5-parter. Just every episode.
Yeah, and then it kept. I suppose like 22 and 23 didn't really have it, but that's because that was kind of like the end fight.
Yeah, but it was all leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was still like
Definitely
part of it. So basically, the Geizok are putting bombs in people because they're like, oh, this is the best way to attack humanity, because they realized that the mecha boost weren't really working because the Zambot was able to beat them. Which also, just a tip for any of you evil invaders out there, if you want to send mecha boosts, send more than one at a time, because there's only going to be one mech on Earth at once. And right now it's in Japan, and it just started walking. So, like, you could send it to different countries. It doesn't just all
why
have
did
to
he
go
drop
to
all
Japan.
of? I mean, this hits with like American movies as well. Why do aliens only ever attack DC and sometimes London?
Oh, no, yeah, you're totally right. It doesn't make any sense. Like the aliens are always like, oh, we're so smart. And it's like, you're only attacking one country, dog. Like, there's a whole planet. Go around the world.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah. At least Pacific Rim did it in the Pacific Ocean. But it was still mainly America. So, but okay, so now that we've given the tip to the invaders, oh man, government, don't sue us, don't arrest us. This was a joke. In case
this podcast is a joke.
I'm saving our asses in case aliens ever invade. Okay,
because aliens are definitely going to watch our podcast.
The government doesn't care about that. They just care that if they hear we said something, they're like,
you should have addressed it. You should have addressed it to everybody's personal FBI agent.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're gonna hear it anyways. So Mr. FBI agent, who's watching through my webcam, That's an old ass meme. Don't like that I made that.
This whole bit is an old meme. Do we want to move?
I want to stop this bit, honestly.
This was not a good bit.
Bad bit. Bad bit. Okay, so aliens invading, making human bombs. What else happens?
It puts a star mark on their Yo, are the JoJos bomb people?
I had the same exact thought. I was like,
I only
like
just thought of that.
Midway through the like internment camp episode, I kind of realized, and I was like, wait a minute. The Joestars, they're not like special. They're just human bombs. And I was gonna send you that message, and then I was like, I'm too lazy.
And then it only just occurred to me now.
I'm glad it occurred to you though, because I had completely forgotten. Because I didn't write that down in my notes. But yeah, no, they just have a star mark.
There's like refugee camps that people are going to when the cities are destroyed, and then plot twist, the aliens are running them.
Well, they're not running all of them.
Up.
They're not running all of them. I think they're only running like one or two of them. But they're like making human bombs, and then they're erasing the memory of that happening and sending them to other refugee camps to blow them up. Which, honestly, that's a really... This is going to be on a watch list, isn't it? If you're an evil alien invading, that's a very smart tactic. Well, like, that's a smart tactic, okay? If you want to kill all of humanity, put the bombs in people. Because what are people going to do? Shoot them? You're silent.
So anyway,
Kozuki
ends up in one of the camps, and Kappe and his grandma like sneak in, and this is a really fun episode.
It was great. I love that episode. Yeah. They sneak in, and then they had to. The guards, when they went in, they're like, hey, "Can we?" Kappe was like, "Oh man, we're refugees. Can we get a place to stay?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And they walk in. They're like, "No dogs." And he's like, "Okay, Shinosuke, stay over there." And Shinosuke's like, "Oh, okay."
Basically, and then they just yeet them into prison. But Grandma came prepared. There's a talkie phone box in Issei's shoe.
Kappe. Where did Issei come from?
What show is he from? I don't remember. That
Issei.
name's been rattling around my head for like a while.
Issei. I know that name. Issei. I'm not going to remember it because I'm drunk, but like... Issei. Search that name, because it's going to piss me off.
I'm way ahead. He's the main character from DxD.
That's it. It's my boy. I can see him over there on my wall. I can see him. I'm looking at him. That's the main character of DD. Yes.
So they're in the camp and they go to break out. It starts raining and they're like, "Y'all wash up." And so there's like this weird outdoor shower scene.
Yeah. But I did like that the aliens were nice enough to not make the women wash at the same time as the men, and they separated them.
I don't know. They're all washing, and we see that two of Kozuki's gang have star marks on their back, and they're like, and Kozuki's like, "Yo, where'd you get that bruise? Don't you remember walking out and about last night?" And they're all just like, "What?"
Yeah. No, dude, I didn't go out anywhere. You're dumb. And then Kappe, I think he's the one who kind of realizes that. He's like, "Oh no, that's got to be the mark for the bomb," because he already knew about the human bombs. That's why they went to infiltrate the camp in the first place.
Yeah, they like had figured that much out.
Yeah.
And then like things happen. I don't remember all the things that happen. But it ends with like a bunch of people who have already been turned into bombs realizing they've been turned into bombs, and they like go to walk off on their own and make their own like little commune.
Well, one of the things that happens before is like another mecha boost comes to attack because it's the format of the show, and it's gotta happen. But like in that, one of the boys from Kozuki's crew, he goes and like gets sucked up by the vacuum because that was part of the monster this time, and then he blows up. And I think this was like the first like real like traumatic death that we had in the show. I think.
Yeah, this one stung, even though it was a character we didn't know much about.
Yeah. And like, because like, there's been a couple families that have died. Like Kozuki's family died. The twins.
Well, no, they're not dead. They come back later. They're just missing.
Oh, that's right. They were missing, but the twins' family got killed before this. I'm pretty sure. Like the ugly twins. Or no, they didn't get killed.
Remember.
No, they didn't get killed. No, they were separated as well. There was somebody's family who got killed beforehand. I don't remember who it was though. But anyways, this was the first one that I think was like traumatic because we got to see Kozuki like react to it and be like, "Oh shit." That was
and
like
this is
one
one
of
that
my
also
best
hits
friends.
Cape really hard as well.
Yeah, because this is like the first real loss that he's experienced. Because everybody else has died has just been kind of like a civilian, and so he doesn't really like. Yeah, he cares, but like in the same way as like when you hear like the news that somebody died, right? Generally, I want to say that generally because there's some instances where that's not the case.
There's like a level of disconnect, but that's not really here for this one.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the first one that like is somebody directly related to like the characters' lives that gets killed, and he blows up, which is extremely traumatic. Like imagine, like somebody you've known for a long time just exploding in front of you.
I'm not going to do that.
Probably best you don't, honestly. But like. Yeah, and so like it hit pretty hard, and then towards the end of the episode, like you mentioned, they were going off to get away from the rest of civilization because there was no like cure. Like I say that.
Yeah, because even the Jins were like, we haven't figured out how to remove it.
Yeah, because there's like no information in the Beale about the human bombs, so they weren't able to do anything about it. And so like then they all go off in a crew. And then the other guy from Kozuki's crew, he's like, "Let me be a man just this once," and like walks off all stoic. And then, as he's walking off with the crew, then he's like, "Wait, no, I don't want to. No, I miss my parents. I don't want to die." And then he explodes, and because of his explosion, causes a chain reaction, and everybody explodes. And that one hit pretty hard, too, I think.
Yeah, because there's just like 30 people standing there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's not.
Yep. And then the ED plays.
Yeah, this is exactly the scene I was referencing when I said sometimes the ending is a little out of place. Getting the chill country music.
Yeah. I don't know. In that instance, I thought it was more of like a melancholic thing. It seemed more melancholic to me.
Kind of. I personally expected more like... I don't know which show to compare it to, but I know some shows, like, if you have, like, a really impactful thing right at the end of the episode, you'll still have the credits, but they just won't play the music over it. I kind of expected that to happen.
I see.
I think Game of Thrones did that some. Jeez, okay. Do you remember when Game of Thrones was relevant?
Yeah, before the last season, yeah. I still haven't watched a single episode of that show.
I watched the last season as it was ending. I got to watch the show die in front of me.
So you were there for that whole shit show.
Oh, yeah.
The Starbucks cup on the table.
And then, like, the official edit, like, a day later to like, CGI it out.
Oh, they did? I didn't even know they did that. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, they
that.
CGI'd it out, like, 2 days after and re-released the episode on HBO.
They would have to. That was so dumb.
They didn't do the same thing for the water bottles in the final episode. There were whatever. They were under the chairs.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Why were those things even on set? That's what I want to know.
Because they were drinking them before shots, and D&D didn't care to fix things.
No, but like those things should have been on set. Whatever. We're not talking about Game of Thrones.
I would have so much to talk about on Game of Thrones. A friend and I were actually talking about making Game of Thrones podcast. Like, we were gonna let's talk about the old stuff, and then when season 8 hits, we'll talk about it as it happens. Boy, I'm glad that didn't happen. I dropped my fidget item, and I don't know where it went.
All right. Well, we're starting to run out of time, so let's get through this.
Bomb arc. Aki blows up.
Okay, look, honestly, that's the next thing we got to talk about.
I'm sorry, that's not a funny bit.
It's really not. It's very much not. Because like a bunch of people get captured. So obviously the people in the camp escape, right? Like they're able to escape, like except for the bomb people. But
yeah,
there's a bunch of people that get captured. Aki and Michi are two of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we keep getting like sideaways of like these side characters while they're like in the ship, because there's like a mecha base basically that disappeared.
Yeah, and those two get captured. It was
the Bandok.
Yes, that was it. Those two get captured, and then Aki gets taken away when Kozuki gets captured. Kozuki gets taken to the same cell as Michi, and Kozuki's like, "Wait, where's Aki? Where's Aki at?" And Michi's like, "She was taken away by them," and he knows, like, at this point he understands like there's the human bombs are a thing. He's like, because he watched both of his friends get murdered by the bombs, and so he he's like, "Oh no, we gotta stop this." But then Aki gets the bomb implanted, gets memory erased, and Kappai finds her, saves her, takes her back to the King Beale.
Mm-hmm.
Takes her to his room.
There's like this weird aside with playful shenanigans that, like, I mean, yeah, it's what the characters would do, but it was still also vaguely awkward.
What things do you talk about?
Well, no, because like he takes her into his room and he's like, "Here, have some clothes to change into," and he just like sits there and stares at her, and she's like, "Bruh, step outside," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then tries to like lean back in the door.
Yeah,
which of course she exactly expects and hits him with the helmet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was a good joke, but it was still a bad sequence. I'm like, bruh, no, don't. He's gonna do it.
I get what you mean, but like, oh man, the way that lightened the mood, because like when they lightened the mood like that, I was like, okay, maybe Aki won't die. But then right after that scene, that's when the grandpa was like, "You brought somebody on board? No, you can't do that. You can't, like, just because they knew about the human bombs, they were like being super cautious about everybody who came on board. No, you can't just bring anybody on board." And then I was like,
and
oh, no.
Immediately after,
there was a bit of a build up, and like that whole time, like this sense of dread just kind of building in me, and I was like, no, don't do it, please don't do it, no, and like and then like you see Aki, because like he offers her the shirt or whatever, so she's changed clothes, she's still in his room, and then he's like, "No, wait, Aki can't be a bomb. No, she's fine. There's no way that Aki can be a bomb. There's no logic behind that." And then eventually he, continues that whole thing, and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go check on her," and that's when then you see her like
as he's going down the hallway,
and you see her, and it cuts to a shot of her just kind of chilling in his room, like reading a magazine. And
that's a really harsh juxtaposition, yeah.
And then she just explodes, and
yeah,
that almost broke me. I'm not gonna lie.
It didn't hit me as hard as it did you, evidently, but I will cede that I probably shouldn't have riffed on it because it is played really, really well.
Yes. It's so well done because the whole like kind of like dynamic. I don't want to say relationship. I want to say dynamic between Aki and Kape is done really well. Like they play on each other. Like they seem like the type like that would get together at the end. You know, like these two are the ones that are going to end up together. And so when she explodes, it's like it's so like like just,
and they ramp up the like feelings on it because then we get like this double juxtaposition because we get a flashback of he and the twins playing on the beach, Cappy and the twins playing on the beach, right alongside Grandpa locks down the sector it's in to stop the beetle from just continuing to blow up, and it's got like him against the door in between that.
Yeah. And like he tries to like he starts beating on the door, but the door is so hot that he burns himself because like he wants to get to Aki. Because like I mean I think he genuinely loved Aki. Like he was 12 years old.
Yeah, and, they're all kids.
Yeah. So Kape was 12, Uchucho was 15, and Keiko was 14. But like
I'll take your word on that.
Yeah, I did look that up. But you know how 12-year-olds are. Like girls have cooties, but like guys still have like they still have crushes on girls, you know, and like but they're not going to admit it. And so like he never admitted it. That's why he calls them the ugly twins. Even though like he actually really likes Aki. And so this was like a huge like moment, especially for Kape. Like it was a huge moment in the entire show because this was like the first, I would say, almost main character that gets killed, and also the first time the Beale is damaged, I believe. Like actually like really damaged, and like they have to like do something about it because like
I don't think so actually, because like the Beale had to get like some serious repairs before then, because like
I thought that was for the Steel Man. No, that was for the Zambo Ace and stuff.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But also they weren't able to fix this. Like
you see Cape's brother like later on, like the final shot of this like episode sequence of the whole Aki thing. You see Cape's brother like lifting the room building box block thing out of the ship and dropping it into the sea.
And they never replace that either.
Yeah, no. Well, because you're going to have to keep that bit locked off.
Yeah.
And you see like the final shot of the episode before the ED is Cape and Michi, I think, watching out over the sunset as the capsule sinks.
Yeah. I believe so.
Kozuki might be there. I don't remember.
Yeah, because they'd found Michi, because Michi like surfed, because Kozuki had like saved Michi, and like so they did that, and then
and they confirmed she wasn't a bum because the family is the one who rescues her, and they're like, we need to see your back before we let you on.
Yep, and then she shows them their back, and they're like, oh thank God. And then she comes on, she's like, oh no, I can't believe Aki was killed, or like Aki died, and then he was like, how did you find out? And it was like it was pretty emotional, honestly. And like there's a lot of emotional moments like that throughout the whole show with I would from this arc. I would say this arc, not the whole show, this arc, because of the bomb thing.
I will say I was a little disconnected at this point because basically I was still in burnout from the second half. Because like the first half of it I've already mentioned wasn't really my cup of tea, the whole Monster of the Week thing. I couldn't really jive with it. Add on to the fact that I was an idiot managing my own time and had to watch like 11 episodes straight yesterday. I was a little checked out. And so like Aki was the first, the Gang Kid and then Aki were the first two like really big parts, and so I wasn't like properly invested by that time. All of the ones after Aki, those got to me because I'd like tuned back in basically.
Yeah.
Because plot spoilers, there's like a bunch more.
Yeah. So Okay, so I think we need to do a speed round for the end of the show. Honestly, I think we're not going to do the show justice. I think you can agree, Wob.
Yeah, we should have put a lot more time into the second half instead of rambling about how much we hate Cape.
Yeah. But like watch this show. I want to say like watch this show, please. Please watch this show. I know you might not have the same sentiments, but like we're not going to be able to give this show justice. I don't think.
If this sounds like your kind of show, you will definitely need to see it because it will do a significantly better job explaining it than we would.
Yeah. And especially since we're about to go into a speed round for the final few episodes of the show. Cause
I feel bad going lightning round on this because this is the part that actually mattered to me.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you lead in. I'll let you lead in.
Okay, so basically after that there's like I'm on the wrong part of my notes. I think basically we're just talking about the last 3, maybe 2 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
3 episodes. Cuz like there's one bit where they start like after all the bomb stuff they start trying to get to like the base which has escaped and gone to space.
Yeah, which I was so happy they finally went to space also. Just want to mention that because like
the space part was so much better.
It was so much fun. They were able to do so much more with it, I think. Which is something I think Tomino learned and like that's why because I think that's one of the reasons he put Gundam mainly in space because it made more sense for the giant robots to work well in space than on Earth. But
I would like to say real quick, by the way, the first episode after the bomb stuff, my only note is Kozuki did things. But no, they're like on Earth a little bit longer. The military comes on to the King Beale and is like, we're in charge now, and they proceed to accomplish literally nothing.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're useless. Mm-hmm. And they have to give everything back. They have to fight
4 mecha boosts. And this was where my biggest complaint on the repeated shots is because they were fighting 4 boosts that had appeared earlier in the season. So, like, a whole bunch of the attacks against the boosts, a whole bunch of attacks from the boosts, a lot of that was recycled.
I disagree with that. Because I like when they, like, bring back older enemies, right? Like minor enemies. Because like, I thought the I don't remember the name of it, but the one that looked like a bat, you know which one I'm talking about? It's like
that one was fun.
I loved that mecha boost. And so I was so happy to see it back again. But like I thought it was really cool that like instead of just making these like really like simple designs, they like brought back the older ones. I thought that was cool, and it's something I'd like to see also. Like I think it's part of my tokusatsu fan because it's like a way to save money, but like also continue, you know. But like I understand your complaint.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying is I think you're missing my point. I'm not complaining that 4 older mechs came back. That was cool. I was complaining that a whole bunch of the shots were just straight reused because it was old mechs.
And yeah, I mean, I understand that. I think part of that though, to just counter your point there, is that we binged this show, and I think you did 2 days, right?
3.
Okay. So we binged this show in 3 days. If you're watching this show weekly, you know, like obviously
weekly it would be a lot less egregious.
But like I feel like most people aren't going to watch a 26 episode show in 3 days. Like obviously there's a minority that will, but most people watch anime slower. They don't just like watch it all in one burst. And I think that it wouldn't be that big of an issue. Like if you watch this like over 2 weeks time, I don't think that would have been as big of an issue for you.
Yeah, because I probably wouldn't have noticed it. That is fair. It still bothered me, but I suppose there would have been enough time in between that they might have gotten away with it.
I mean, I'm not trying to like just like completely discount your complaint because it's completely valid. You know, it's totally fine. But that is just something to think about. Like if you're watching this show slower, I don't think that'll be as big of an issue. You know?
Okay. As much as it pains me to do this, you're right. I definitely need to speedrun. Basically, they're trying to fly to the enemy ship. There's like a bunch of mines. And, like, the Jin family starts to die, like, rapid fire here.
Yes.
And
Grandpa and Grandma
this is why I don't want to speedrun this part, is because these are the deaths that actually got to me. The first one is, like, they realize they need, like, an entrance to the main ship. So the grandma and the grandpa, like, separate the already very damaged Beale second and just fly in. Yeah. They do that, like, a bunch of times, actually. Like, multiple people do that, because that's how we lose the dad, is he starts, like, blocking shots with the Beale second.
Yes.
And then in, like, the final leg of the fight, we lose Keiko and Uchuta because they fly into it to give Kappe a way in. Kappe gets in and does the actual defeating. There's only, like, 3 Jins left aside from him. Wait, no, sorry. The aunts and the mom and the little kids and Kozuki all got launched in escape pods back to Earth.
Yeah, because they were forced to, not by their own choice, because they would have stayed and fought, but, like, everybody's like, no, they're getting sent back.
Because, like everyone's kind of realized it's become almost a suicide mission at this point.
Yeah.
And Sakape gets in there and fights, and he has a conversation with the brain, and I want to talk about that one separately. And they start to, like, fall to Earth, at which point the 2 uncles, I think, are all that's left, the 2 uncles and his brother.
Yes.
They're like, Kape's falling too fast, he'll burn up if we leave him do this. So they, like, get under there and crash into it to slow the descent. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, of the people who weren't sent to Earth, Kape's the only one who gets out of this.
Yeah.
All of the losses starting with the grandparents were the ones that, like, actually affected me. And that's why it feels really bad speedrunning this part, because this is the one bit of the show that I actually thought was really good.
No, I mean, look, I hate that we have to speedrun this bit too, because this was my favorite part of the show, but not... That sounds
I'm not
weird.
gonna say it's my favorite, because there's not really a favorite. I didn't think this show was great. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't think the show was that great, but this was definitely the best part of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I do agree. Like, all of these, the last episode. So, like, I watched most of these. I mean, I know you watched a lot of this on your. I think you watched this whole episode on your computer.
I always watch on my desktop.
Yeah. So, like, there was a couple
I don't really
episodes.
have any other options.
Got you. There was a couple episodes I watched on my phone. A couple episodes I watched on my laptop. And I watched a majority of it on TV, on the TV. The last 3 episodes I watched on the TV, and the last episode, I was standing up the entire time, which doesn't happen often, right? Like, yeah, maybe it doesn't sound too important, right? Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't.
I'm sorry, that just sounded like a bit of a dopey descriptor. Like, it was so much I had to stand.
No, yeah,
but no, I understand. That means it's, like, really tense.
Yeah, I mean, I was like so into it at that point, and, like, God, I didn't want his brother to die. Like, I really
he was such a good dude.
He was the best. He was just he was just the nicest guy, and I hated that. But, like, he sacrificed himself for humanity.
Yeah, and the grandparents one also really got me, because, like, earlier in the episode, the 2 grandparents were always adorable together. Like, you could tell that they like loved each other. And they have, like, tea or soup or something at one point, and she's like, "Do you see this bowl? You got it for me when we were 20."
Uh-huh.
And then it breaks, and she fixes it. And then before they get in the Beale second, Grandma, like, wanders over to one of the uncles and says, "Give this to the kids. They need it." And then she walks off, and I'm like, no!
No. What she says is, because I remember this very clearly, she says, "Give this to Kappe or Keiko, because Uchuta won't want this." That's what she said. But, like, yeah, no, that was...
Like, at that point, you know what's up, and I was not okay with it.
As soon as the bowl broke, I was like, oh, no. Please don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, please.
I didn't put it together with the bowl breaking, but I put it together when Grandpa hops in the Beale too, and Grandma's like, "I want to come with," and he's like, "You realize what's going on, right?" And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, I think I had a little bit more context because I knew about the whole kill 'em all Tomino thing. You know, I kind of knew what that meant. So I kind of knew what to look for. But yeah, it hit. It didn't. I don't think it hit any less hard than it did for you. All of those final deaths were so. They were tough.
Mm-hmm.
That last 2 episodes. Oh man.
But the last thing we really need to talk about is, like, there's a little bit of a twist, basically. And so Kape gets to, like, the Gaizak brain that's been leading Butcher. And it turns out the thing was a computer, one of many, made by the Gaizak, which were sent to seek out and destroy evil civilizations, of which humans are one.
Yes.
And they have this big, like, philosophical discussion about, like, will anyone on the planet below thank you for what you've done? Does anyone care about what you're doing for them? Why would we have sought out the Earth if they weren't truly despicable? And Kabe doesn't really have an answer for it, honestly. Or
No.
I think he might have. To be completely honest, my subs were starting to, like, freak out at this bit, so I missed some of the lines.
Yeah. So some of that was so this was a pretty big moment, I think, for Kape. Because if you were to give him this question at the beginning of the show, he would have said, I did it. This is what I think he would have said. I think he would have said, I did it because it's cool. Right? Like,
Honestly.
but like at the end of the show, what he says is, I did it to protect Earth. And like, even when because when the brain asks him, like, why did you do this to protect Earth? Like, nobody's gonna thank you? Why did you do this? And he's like, no, it's our Earth. I was born here. I want to protect it. Like, that's huge, you know?
Absolutely.
And it was such a big moment for Kape.
It's definitely a huge contrast to, like, the first 10 episode Kape.
Yeah. Yeah. It shows that Kape's grown as a person. And I think it was really important that we got that scene. Though, yes, my subs also were freaking out. We had the same subs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was great. I really appreciated that like moment because it's something also, like, I see a lot too, like in fiction, like humanity isn't good. Like, they're inherently bad, right? Like, because they're full of liars. They fight each other. Like, they kill each other over useless things. But, like, it's also like, yeah, but that's, and then the enemy's always like, so why would you want to save them? And it's like, well, I'm one of them. I want to protect my own. And I don't know. It's hard to explain it, you know. But
yeah, and we see, yeah, and it's like this big deep, like, thinky ending, and then Kape ends up back on Earth, with all the people who got out in the escape pods, and we do actually see that the citizens of Japan are, like, chill with him now. They're like, you saved the planet, and so we do get a little bit, like, of payoff.
They're actually thanking him for what he's done,
which I honestly didn't expect. I was honestly kind of worried that they'd still be like, look at all this destruction y'all caused.
I was in the same boat as you. Yeah,
I would not have been surprised if it went that way.
No, I wouldn't have either. I was surprised that it went the way it did. You know, because I didn't think that they were gonna appreciate what the Jin family did and the sacrifices.
Especially after the whole discussion that the Gaizak computer had. Like, I thought the Gaizak was gonna be right. Honestly, I thought it was that kind of show.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
honestly legitimately thinking, after how many deaths they'd suffered, I thought they were going to lose. Like, yeah, I legit thought this was going to be the kind of show where they lose the fight.
I mean, I thought Kape was going to die without ever making it back to Earth or crashing on Earth and dying that way. I didn't think he was going to survive at the end of the show, which he does, and he does it in Michi's lap, which is really important, I think, and kind of because the whole show, Michi is obviously cared for Kape, loves Kape, and that, like, I mean, I kind of memed on it a little bit earlier on in the episode, when at the end of the thing, like Kozuki says, "You really like him, don't you?" And she's like, "Yeah, but I can't. But I'm so ugly." And
Yeah,
then,
that was like that was weird. It's like, girl, get over yourself.
yeah, it seemed kind of more like because at least the way I interpreted it at the end, right? It was more like what's the best way to put this? It was it was more like they oh god, I'm having a hard time. It seemed
You're
like
gonna be all right
Kozuki.
there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to put it into words. But like it seemed like Kape was like a. I think that they were the ones going to get together, right? Because like, also if you put it in comparison with like Kape's mom and dad, like
Hmm.
the dad was kind of more like I would say stereotypical handsome, but the mom was not, and so I think that was kind of more a little bit of foreshadowing to what was going to happen, slightly, but I don't think it was like a big thing, but I think that was they kind of like were implying that like the inside is more important than the outside kind of thing, right?
Possibly. I'm not so sure there's that much of a deeper meaning there,
Yeah, no, I mean I don't think it's like huge or anything, but yeah,
but possible, I suppose. But
that was
that's how it ends.
yeah,
Is with they did it, but at great cost.
yep, it's for sure.
Which one of us should give our final thoughts first? Should we leave with your glowing review or mine, where I have to do a little bit of reflection?
Um, I can go with mine first.
All right, go ahead and take it away.
So overall, I liked the show. I had fun with it. I think I'm a little bit more the target demographic than you are. It I like the Monster of the Week stuff generally, like the designs. I think I am a Tomino fan now. Um, so I gave the show an 8. Which
Dang.
yeah, I thought that might surprise you. I'm a little scared of your score, honestly.
It's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
That's good. I like that. I like that reassurance. But yeah, I like the show. I like it's. I don't know how often I'll revisit it. I think I want to more visit more of Tomino's work rather than revisit this show specifically. But I liked it. It was fun. I would recommend it to anybody, honestly.
Okay. I've got a little less of a clear cut opinion on this. Again, this style of show is not my thing, and I was trying to like let that stance affect my rating as little as possible. I think I have a lot of issues with the first half of the show, but the second half of the show was really impactful. Like I like they had a good cast of characters, and they made what ended with those characters very like impactful and meaningful for the second half. But the first half, I found the Monster of the Week to be kind of boring, but that's again my taste on a series. And I found a lot of what Kape and Kozuki did to be actually pretty irritating. And so I think the solid second half mixed with a lackluster first half puts us in the range of like pure average for me, which by my rating is a 6.
Okay.
It does have some good qualities, so it's a 6 tending towards 7. But it's not something I'd personally recommend, partly because again, it's a really slow burn to get going in my opinion, and also because it's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah. I understand. I respect your opinion. Uh,
That's unusual.
hey now. As long as you give Pion Kokochiki Boy We Love a 10, we're all fine. We're all good.
Which I don't. I made you like shout across the room at me over our half break with hot takes you disagreed with.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true. Can't lie. Um,
But I suppose that kind of wraps up episode 11.
I think it does, yeah. Good show, highly recommend it. So, but before we end, what are we watching next week? Yeah.
So, we changed plans about this like 5 hours ago. Because, Seaweed made a joke last episode about the 2-part mecha special. That wasn't an official thing, because I had initially blocked out a mecha show for next week. That, if I'm being honest, I didn't realize was a mecha show. But after having this show that I was just kind of like, about, and the week before having the suffering that was Assassin's Pride, by golly, by dang it, I want to watch a show I like. So for next week, I'm subbing it out. It's a show we've both already watched. We're going to go back and revisit one of my favorites, Kill la Kill.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm
excited too.
I haven't watched it in a while. I haven't watched it since early high school.
I think it was freshman year of college that I've watched it. So it's been about 4 years now.
Yeah. I think it's been like 7 years since I watched it.
Yeah. So this is gonna be a trip back into an old show for both of us.
Yep. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking
forward
to it.
It's gonna be a good
time. But yeah, so that's been this episode 11.
Episode 11, and I think it's 11. I hope it's 11 because I've been very confident about that.
I hope so. Episode 11 of A Shot of Weeb. Yes, that would track. That would make sense because episode 1 was a two the double pick. Neither of us watched. So every third, like every numeral of 3 would be your pick. That's next week. That'll be a 12.
That'll be a 12. Yep.
So it's episode 11. Thanks for listening. This was a longer one.
Listening or watching, depending on your platform.
It's true. And if you would like to support us, let's go ahead and plug this.
Oh, yeah, because someone asked that.
Yeah. If you'd like to support us, you can go visit. If you listen to our Anchor episodes, that gets us a little kickback because we got the ads going.
I think that does that also carry over to the platforms that Anchor puts us on? Because it also puts us on like Apple Play, Spotify.
Yep. Anywhere you listen to just podcasts, as long as it's not on YouTube, that'll get us a little bit of kickback from the ads. But we also have a donation link, I believe. So if you would like to just give us a donation, that's also on Anchor. That'll be linked down in the description of both the YouTube and all the audio platforms. So you could do that as well.
And so if you're so inclined, that's available, but we're by no means going to ask for it.
Oh no, we're not asking for it. That's if you would like to, we will be very grateful.
I had actually forgotten about it until someone mentioned it on one of our YouTube comments. Because that's the other distinction, honestly. Is we don't actually get anything from YouTube yet, but if you watch on YouTube, you get to see our lovely faces.
That's true. If you watch on YouTube, you get a bonus, but we don't get anything. But hey, we're doing this.
That's not the point of this.
Exactly.
This is for funsies.
We're having fun.
I got a full-time job.
Oh yeah, no, and I got work coming in, so we're all good. So, yes, thank you for listening to episode 11 about Zambot 3. Oh wait, before we leave,
you didn't do
I
the
forgot.
Thing.
Moon attack.
Moon attack. And we'll cut there. See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Moon attack. Oh man. All right.
I just cringed so hard at that.
I'm so glad. Hey, that's what it's for. All right.